In 2009, he exploded onto the network marketing scene with a mission.
When I was dead broke, in foreclosure, and needed money, like I needed air to breathe, I still told people, hey, I'm going to do it with or without you.
Created one of the most popular network marketing blogs.
You got to think, why would someone want to read each and every one of your blog posts?
Became the #1 income earner in his company.
If you want to keep ratcheting your success level, is continuing to do the things that make you uncomfortable.
And now teaches people all around the world how to become an industry success.
Investing in yourself is actually way more of a belief in yourself than of the person you're buying from.
My conversation with Ray Higdon, coming up now on Home Business Television.
From Hollywood, it's Home Business Television, the hot spot for your home business success. And now, with your home business hookup, your host, Calais Beeman.
What does it really take to become a top income earner in your network marketing company? Well, my guest today knows exactly how to do just that. In just a few short years, he's risen to the top and become one of the biggest successes in the industry. Ray Higdon, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
You know, I was watching a video of yours, and you were talking about the importance of being adaptable. Where did that come from?
You know, it's funny. It's something I used to always say, and I would mainly say it to high schoolers, because I haven't been doing it as much as I used to, but for a while I'd go around and speak at different high schools on being an entrepreneur, and I would say, you know, security is solely in your ability to adapt. And, you know, it's something that what people have to understand is at every level, whether you are, you know, struggling, whether you are successful, things happen. You're going to get, you know, and I think Walt Disney's quote of, you know, sometimes a kick in the teeth is exactly what you need. But you're going to have things happen at every level. People may think that, oh, once you know, make $1 million or once you reach a certain, you know, success level, then nothing bad ever happens, and that's just not true. You have to be willing to adapt, not just as a person, but also as a business too, because everything around you is constantly either growing or dying, and you are too. So the ability to adapt is really your greatest weapon against life, against what could happen out there.
Now, you started in this industry, and you basically from the ground up, I think you were in a struggling situation. What did it really take to turn things around for you? What was the first step that you took, and what would you say to other people who may be now faced with the same situation?
It really is. It all starts with a kind of shift of focus. You know, I was in real estate. I left corporate America and I started my real estate business and did well, you know, for a few years. And then when the market changed, I didn't adapt, and so I got clobbered. I got hammered, and so I lost all the money I'd ever made in real estate. Not only were multiple of my, you know, houses that I was working on to try to, you know, make some money with, not only did, you know, those go into foreclosure, but I went into personal foreclosure too. And so for about a year, my focus was on two things. Neither of them served me. Number one, well, what's wrong with me? And number two, man, I got all this bad stuff going on. And so the problem is that's most people. Most people do the same thing. They look at, well, what's wrong with me? And they look at what's wrong with my results, right? Well, what you have to understand is staring at your results doesn't change anything. It doesn't matter what you know, if you stare at your results. You need to look at first what habits created those results, and then look at what thoughts created those habits. And so when I shifted my focus, instead of my circumstances to what I wanted to become, who I wanted to grow into, what kind of difference I wanted to make, why am I here kind of stuff, that alteration of thoughts created new habits, and those new habits created new results. And so it all started with a shift of focus. You may hear people talk about how they got sick and tired of being sick and tired. Well, I was sick and tired of being a loser. You know, for a year, I wished for things to be better. I was really distraught over what was wrong with me and my results. And instead, I decided to take action. And, I don't know that it was any special training necessarily, but it all started with a shift of focus. So if someone's struggling, you need to shift your focus to what it is that you actually want and what goals you have, who you want to become, and that will help impact the habits that you create that will change those results.
You took your business from a flat start, essentially, in a short amount of time, got to the top. You were one of the biggest, sensations in the network marketing industry. What did you do? What does it really take to go from point A to point B in that amount of time that you did that?
It's a factor of things. I would say if I look at, I remember going to an event in Vegas, and it was an industry generic event. A lot of different trainers there, a lot of different marketers, online, offline. Nobody knew me. I walked in and I sat at the table. I wasn't a speaker there or anything like that. And that was early 2010. And I look at what was the difference. What was the difference between some of those people that were there, even some of the speakers, versus what my wife and I have done? And I would say the number one difference is consistency. And I think, so that's kind of easy to say. It's easy to say, be consistent, right? Well, you can't actually just say be consistent, because you have to know, why are you doing this thing? Who do you want to become? You have to know those things before you become consistent. And it's very similar in any kind of major life goal. If you want to lose weight, we know the formula. The formula is eat less, work out more, right? End of story. But what you have to have for that to be successful is you have to be consistent. For you to be consistent, you have to have a vision of you being skinnier, or being a different kind of athletic person, or being around, different types of people, or having more self-control. You have to have those whys and the whos. Why are you doing this thing? Who are you doing it? And so if you look from the outside, we've just simply been more consistent. And we've constantly challenged ourselves. One of the things that we did this year, is we did a Top Earner Academy event, and that really pushed us out of our comfort zone yet again. And so what we've done is we've constantly, I'm not satisfied with just doing the same thing year after year after year. It's always that next, okay, what's really going to push me? What's really going to maybe stress us out a little bit? What's going to push us hard? And taking that leap, whether it's investing in coaching, running a big event, doing something that we really aren't sure how to perfectly do, but doing it anyway. And the key to understand, if you want to keep ratcheting your success level, is continuing to do the things that make you uncomfortable, that you greatly resist, will have you reach those rungs up the ladder quicker. And one thing we've noticed is, before every single major breakthrough, we had a major breakdown. And I remember, before our big event in June of this year, we got hit with a couple different things. We got hit with a big IRS bill we weren't anticipating. We got hit with this. The event was way, way over budget. And we were just like, But, it was a super successful event. We had brought on new coaching clients from all over the world, and broke every single possible scenario we thought of how well that event could have gone. And that's just what happens. You start to get used to that. You start to get used to creating more what we call good stress or eustress in your life to create more breakthroughs.
What would you say was your first real breakthrough moment where you saw where you kind of shifted and you saw your business kind of go to a different level? What was that first moment or that first experience or that first breakthrough like for you?
Well, there's been a lot of different milestones. From being in personal foreclosure, dead broke, mentally really in a coma for a year. We hit the first, I would say, milestone is we hit, $10,000 a month our 5th month. We hit $40,000 a month our 7th month, and became the #1 income earner in that company. But honestly, I didn't even collect those as breakthroughs. Those are milestones. my first actual breakthrough is I had invested and lost a lot of money in real estate, and so it made me very, very gun shy to spend big money. It just made me really, really gun shy. And I remember, we got married in November 2011, and I wanted to do the most amazing honeymoon ever, and so it was just so expensive. I was very, very stressed out, and we had the money, but I just had that hanging mindset that the last time I spent a lot of money, I lost it all, right? And so I remember working my butt off before that honeymoon. I mean, I was doing webinars every single night, sometimes 2 days a day, 2 days, and I was just so stressed out about spending all this money. Oh my goodness, because the honeymoon was not double, but it was 1.5 times what I made in the year 2009. Okay, so just put it into perspective. So we did this. Here was my biggest breakthrough. We go on this 10-day honeymoon, my first major breakthrough. We go on this 10-day honeymoon in Fiji. Went to the Tony Robbins resort, was there half the time. Went to this other resort for half the time. Unbelievable, everything all inclusive, no expenses barred. I mean, we bought whatever it is we wanted, did whatever. Came home to more money than we spent. That gave me a realization that it was like, wait a minute. Here we went to one of the most amazing places on the planet, two of the most expensive, most lavish, luxurious, amazing resorts on the planet. Tony Robbins Resort was rated, I think it's the number 4 spa in the world, and number 1 in Fiji. But we spent all that. We came home to more money than we spent, and that's when I realized, I'm like, well, how many people would want to travel to wherever they want to go and actually make more money than they spend? That would be everybody. And so it kind of unlocks something in me to say, geez, we talk all about freedom, we talk all about lifestyle, but when you actually experience it like that, you just have such a renewed and more powerful belief in the profession that we're in network marketing. And so I just started being more open to sharing it with even more people. Not that I was too timid before, but it just gave me that frame of mind that it's like, you're just crazy if you don't do something for residual income, whether it's network marketing or insurance or something. There's other ways of residual income. I just think we have the best way.
Wow, you have me wanting to take a vacation now, Ray. You bring up an interesting point about being concerned about spending money, and I think a lot of people in the industry, especially people who are new and just starting to build their business, are a little resistant to spending money, or skeptical, or want to just be, to be blunt, a little cheap, and don't want to invest in what they need, either the tools or the education. Can you speak to the importance of how you just have to invest in yourself and in your business? If this is a business, and that you're going to have to spend some money.
And it's, I always keep this in mind, in that, the cynical person is just going to look for what's wrong, what's the problem, right? And so I'll share it from my experience. Because, for me to say, hey, you got to invest in yourself, well, I sell products, I sell coaching, that could be seen as, oh, he's just trying to get more people to buy his stuff, right? And I can speak from my experience, right? When I wanted to go out there and create my first product, and I didn't know what I was doing, I hired someone who had done it. And, investing in yourself is actually way more of a belief in yourself than of the person you're buying from. And that's something that is just so critical for me to understand. For if you want to be able to make sales, you have to be a willing buyer. If you're the cynical, skeptical person that won't invest in yourself or won't join that opportunity, how the hell are you going to convince other people to do what you are so scared to do? And so, this year actually, we decided that, we've had some people ask us for, to do coaching for them, and do mastermind programs and things like that. And so we decided, okay, we're going to offer that, at our event. And we did, in June of this year. But for us to do that, we had to invest ourselves. And so there's actually nothing that we've ever sold that we didn't first invest in ourselves and get. So this year alone, it's kind of weird to say, and I'm not saying if you're struggling, go get a loan and go, do it like this. We did it in baby steps, but this year we've spent almost $90,000 just in coaching. Now that's not travel, that's not events, that's not tickets, that's just coaching. Now we've also done all those other events. We've been, we just came back from Eric Worre's event. We were at, the Live the Dream event. We went to all the events too, but in addition to that, almost $90,000 in coaching. However, this was also our first 7-figure year. And, I just don't think that most people can sell something they haven't at first bought. And that doesn't mean that that's the reason to buy, but it is a vibration. I think we all kind of operate off energy and vibration, and I just don't think I can ask someone to do something that I didn't have the faith to do. I love what Felix Dennis says. I don't know if he's the first to say it, but he says, if you don't believe in you, why should anyone else? Well, if you don't invest in you, why should anyone invest in you? Why? How can, if you're not investing in yourself, how can you possibly ask someone to, hey, I don't believe in me, but you should believe in me enough to give me some money, right? And so, that's number one. Number two is, you have to look at value. I hunt for value. I hunt for where to spend money. I hunt for who to hire. I look for that because all I know, I just know it's a trade of money for value. And so, you look for those things, and you have to understand not everyone is as cynical and skeptical as everyone else. I don't look, a lot of people aren't as cynical as you think. But those that are cynical do tend to attract other people that are cynical. And so if you want to build a large business, if you want to find more people that want to work with you and invest in you and purchase your products or join your opportunity or whatever, you need to be the type of person that you want to attract. If you're just out there hoping for a sale or hoping that you can convince someone to or close them or something like that, you're just not in alignment with how to do it the right way, I don't think.
When did you know that you were ready to make your first product?
It's one of those things I didn't really know. I really had no idea, but it's something that, I don't know that I was ready for any of this. I don't know that I was ready for any step of the way, but I knew I wanted to take that step. And so we believe in something called, profitable testing. And what I mean by that, now what most people would think is, he's just, seeing what's profitable. That's actually not the case. Profitable testing in my context is we will do something, we will produce something or offer something that we know will be profitable, but the test is, do we like it? There's something that I talk about. A lot of people that have yet to achieve success, they look for what works, right? So like, is it college students? Is it, what is it? What is it that works right now? And instead, my encouragement is instead of looking for what works, look for what you want. Who do you want to work with? What do you want your ideal day to be like? What kind of lifestyle do you want? See, if you focus on what you want versus trying to cram yourself into what works or what the industry says works or what the media says works or what statistics say work, right? If you try to cram yourself in that world, you can create a world that isn't satisfying. And that's exactly what I did in real estate. In real estate, all my friends were making money. I'm like, man, well, I could do that. I mean, I'm smarter than that guy, and so I did it. It wasn't fulfilling. I made money in real estate, but it wasn't fulfilling. It didn't do anything for me. I made money. I didn't value that money. I lost it all, right? Whereas now I focus on what do we want. And so if having a product is part of what you want, who you want to be and what you want to represent, then do that and and create it. And, it doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, now we use, these big, elaborate, highly expensive and, high overhead systems like Infusionsoft and Customer Hub and all these different things. But we started with GetResponse and PayPal. That's how we, started our first little product. And, it didn't make a whole lot of money, but we got so many testimonials from it. And so my encouragement is you may not ever know when you're ready to make a product, but if you make it awesome. Make it a blockbuster. Pour your heart and soul into it. Make it the best thing possible. And if you do that, people are going to recognize that. People are going to recognize that you did it out of value, not out of just the bottom line. So that would be my suggestion. If you do go that route, if it is part of your journey, make it freaking awesome.
To get to the top of your network marketing company, you obviously have had to have mastered the skill of recruiting. What would you say some of the main principles are that makes you such a great recruiter and that other people need to be mindful of as they're looking to build their team?
I would say that there's two most important factors, at least in my experience. Number one, which one do I want to say first? Number one is numbers. My wife and I, we've recruited, we've averaged, I would guess, 2 new recruits a week for 4 years. And, in some months we've had, some months we've recruited 25, 30 people. Some months we've recruited 8 to 10. And it all comes down to how many people are you showing the plan to? Anytime we've ever had a dip in prospecting or in recruiting results, it's always, well, okay, how many people did we show the plan to? You increase that, and you will recruit more people. Now, I've invested in every single recruiting course that I believe exists, at least that are major. I've bought courses from, Danny Johnson, Tom Challen, David Wood, Black Belt Recruiting, Todd Falcone, all these guys. I bought them all because recruiting is your highest return on investment. You see a lot of people, they focus on traffic and leads and this and that, but they can barely close the door. So even with numbers, they'll still succeed. It's just they'll probably have to talk to 1,000 more people than I do to get a recruit, right? And so understand it's a numbers game. Number two, and this is, for me, I've had someone tell me, some pretty solid people tell me that this is probably my greatest trait, and that is a non-addiction to the outcome. I literally don't care if someone signs up or not. I'm going to present the information. That doesn't mean I'm a calloused jerk. It just means that, I look at it in the best way I've ever heard it said is in, I think, the second Matrix, when Morpheus believes in Neo, right? Have you seen the Matrix?
Yes.
Okay. So Morpheus believes in Neo. He believes that he's the one, right? And so one of the guys on like the council or whatever says to Morpheus, he goes, not everyone believes Neo's the one. And Morpheus says, my belief doesn't require them to. That's good stuff. So when I talk to someone, when I prospect them, whether they say yes or no, whether they think it's legit or not, my belief doesn't require them to. And so that is an energy that you put out. When I was dead broke, in foreclosure, and needed money, like I needed air to breathe, I still told people, hey, I'm going to do it with or without you. I'd love to do it with you. That's just the deal. I'm going to do it with or without you. I'd love to do it with you. But bear in mind, you're not going to slow me down. You're not going to be, I'm not going to, you're not going to challenge my belief because my belief doesn't require you to, right? I don't need your buy-in. I don't need your acceptance. I don't need your approval. Don't need it. I'm going there with or without you. But hey, come along if you'd like. So that's the energy. Now, most people would hear me say that and say, oh, that's easy for you to say, Ray. Well, I said it when I was dead broke. And it's that energy that got me here, not I got here and I arrived and now I just don't care, right? That's not the deal. The deal is I carried that energy when I was dead broke. Now, I didn't go around telling people, hey, I'm dead broke. I really need the money. I'm going to do it with or without you, because that doesn't make any sense. It took me probably 9 or 10 months to openly share that story, to tell people that hey guys, I was in foreclosure. I was dead broke. I didn't say that in the beginning. And that's a key thing to understand is the struggles you're going through right now, telling it like it is, or, telling people where you're at and keeping it real just keeps it all the same. You don't do that. What you do is you start wherever you are, you create success, then you have the right to share that story and inspire other people. You don't have that right to share that story while you're in it. You've got to get out of it, then you share it. So remember that version of you that exists right now, because there will be a time where you'll have to recall. Like I have to recall times where I looked at the right side of the price tag on restaurant menus. I have to recall times where the special of the night dictated where we ate, okay? I very vividly remember the $1 burger night at Bar Louie, right? That was Monday night. We went there, and, sometimes I get the avocado upgrade for 50 cents, right? I remember those times. I have to recall them now because it's not part of my reality now. But see, that's very, very powerful. You got, the people that are unsuccessful, they focus on their current circumstances. The people that are successful, they're always focused on their goals. So stay focused on their goals, and that'll dictate the habits that will drive and create new results for you.
Right, what does a typical day look like for you now versus what it looked like for you when you first started? Has it changed much? Are you still doing the same thing but at different levels? I'm curious to see what your day looks like.
Yeah, great question. A lot of people, they ask, people will ask me, well, Ray, what is it that you do each day? Or what did you do? And then I like the people that say, well, what would you do, right? Because what I do now is absolutely different than what I did in the beginning. And, basically my suggestion, I'll share, but my suggestion is you do what you can do with what you got. In the beginning, I didn't have leads. I didn't have a marketing presence. I didn't have, a successful blog or websites or products, or, I wasn't speaking on stages or anything like that, right? I was hustling. I was beating the bushes. And so when I started, I read a book called Go for No, and those guys are awesome. And so I just created in my mind, I'm like, all right, I'm going to get 20 no's a day. And, I've been honored to be interviewed on, Eric Worre. I think I'm in his top 20 shows of all time. And, I talk about, how I went for 20 no's a day. And I did that for 6 months. Well, that was then, and anyone can do that. That was warm market, cold market, online, offline, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, networking meetings, real estate meetings, chamber of commerce meetings. That was every possible way you could interact with other human beings. I did them because I had to hit those goals of 20 no's a day. And now, it's a little bit different. We have taken the time that while I was prospecting all those months and really years, I've also created on the back end a marketing presence. And so now, my blog gets over 500 leads almost every single week for free, and we have, we're asked, we just got asked to be interviewed in a magazine. We're being interviewed here. So we have a lot more things that we get exposure from than we did in the beginning. In the beginning, we didn't get any exposure. We had to go beat the bushes. And so there's a difference in passive marketing and active prospecting. Active prospecting is what got me to, to number one income earner in my prior company. That's what got me there. Now we do have a lot more passive marketing out there. We're not always beating the bushes. Now, if we're out and about, I'll talk to people and we'll prospect people. If we like them and if we feel like it, it's no longer a necessity. And so I hope people see that as hope. Okay, you don't have to go your entire life getting 20 no's a day, right? That's kind of intense. And so I hope that people understand the whole concept of a season. You run for a season so you can have a life that no one else has, right? And so, yes, we transitioned from getting 20 no's a day to mainly just calling people that asked us to call them. That's a little different, but I didn't start there. And that's where I see a lot of people make a big mistake. A lot of people, they think, I'm just going to do YouTube, so I'm not going to really go after people. That's not how I got here. I did both. I did active prospecting and passive marketing, and then it kind of, intersected at one point, and now it's mainly our efforts of prospecting come from passive marketing. But I teach my team the difference. And I teach my team, you do what you can do with what you got. And if you don't have a bunch of leads coming in, you need to go create those leads. Go get them.
Speaking of your blog, as you know, you've mastered blogging. You're an expert blogger. What is it about? What do you think it is about your blog and your ability to connect with people that has made it so successful? And maybe share some steps for people that are maybe just starting out, what they need to keep in mind.
Sure. I mean, the common mistakes I see bloggers make is a non-identification of their target market, number one. Meaning, if I ask someone, if someone's blogging and I take a look at their site and I say, well, who is it you're hoping to attract? They'll typically say, anybody, right? And that's the problem, okay? You can prospect anybody. Prospect to doctors, lawyers, realtors, stay-at-home moms. Prospect to everybody, okay? But market to somebody. And so if someone comes to my blog and they can't stand network marketing, they're going to go away. My target market is existing network marketers. That's who I chose to work with. That's who I chose to market to. I'm not saying that's the only person to market to. I'm not saying that that's, you just got to do that model. Market to whoever you want. Remember what I said? What you want versus what works, right? Anything works if you focus. So if you want to focus on candlestick makers, then be the guru of candlestick making and attract the heck out of them, right? There's probably not an expert in that realm, maybe. I don't know. So a non-identification of their target market. Be specific. What I see a lot, especially, and I see it a lot in health and wellness blogs, where one blog's talking about making big money from home and the next blog's talking about the ORAC score of strawberries, right? Those are incongruent. There's you got to think, why would someone want to read each and every one of your blog posts? Kind of like reality TV, right? Reality TV doesn't have one set of characters one week and then totally different set of characters the next week. It's congruent. It's an island, and people want to catch every episode. Do people want to catch every episode of your blog? They will if you identify their target market, and sometimes that means polarizing. I'm not on my blog praising corporate America or praising jobs or anything. I praise the profession of network marketing, which turns on my target market, which is existing network marketers. Number two, consistency. We produce 5 to 7 videos every single week, week in, week out. We've done that for years. When you are immersed in your profession and you have a clear distinction of who your target market is, that actually helps. And I'll give you an example, and this is one I've given for my coaching clients, in that if I tell you, do a blog about building supplies, right? Well, you think about like Lowe's or Home Depot, and you're thinking about all these aisles and aisles of building supplies. What is it that you actually talk about? But if I say, do a blog about fences, see, you can actually create more content from fences than building supplies, even though fences is part of building supplies, right? The more specific you get on who you're trying to attract, you actually can dig and find more content that's applicable. And so don't be afraid to be specific. You can change, but my suggestion is if you're more specific on who it is you're trying to attract, it's actually easier to come up with content that way. And, so be consistent, speak to a target market, and always think of value. Once you've identified a target market, then you can go down the value highway and think, how can I serve them? What do they struggle with? What are their problems? What are their desires? What are their goals? How can I help them with that? And it's cool because you actually create a little cycle. The more, and this is coming back to the investment part, this is how we operate. We invest, we learn, we teach. Okay? We invest, we learn, we teach. And so what we've found is the more that we shell out investing in ourselves, the higher we become educated, the better we can teach, and the higher level we can teach at, the better quality clients we get, and the better quality teammates we attract. It's awesome. Think about that. Think about that cycle. What if, and so now we actually hunt for, okay, who's the best at what they do? Let's hire them. That's just awesome. That's so cool that that's the cycle. It's not a selfish cycle. It's not a, well, let me learn something and then it's mine, all mine, right? No, it's you invest, you learn, you teach, and then you attract higher and higher in quality. Those that are scared to invest in themselves, who are you going to attract? You're going to attract other people also scared to invest in themselves, and then it's just a weird party, right?
Oh, Ray, who or what inspires you most?
Who or what inspires me most? I don't know. I mean, I'm honored to have what network marketing has done for me and my wife is it's given us a platform. Now we've earned that platform. It didn't. I shouldn't say give, but we've earned a platform to inspire others, and that's our driver. You know, our driver is the inspiration of others in twofold. Number one, living an inspiring life. People that know me, that we hang out with, not just and a lot of my blog followers and students. I mean, we hang out. A lot of my teammates. Tonight I'm going to a birthday party for one of our teammates. I mean, we live a pretty congruent life. It's not here's the show and then we're grumpy or something. I don't know. But one thing that people will say that really know us and hang out with us is there's that congruency and that authenticity. We have a congruent life, and so number one, create an inspiring life, right? So we've created an inspiring life, a life that inspires others. And number two, go out and inspire. And the only way I know to inspire is to create that story. Create that story of I was here, now I'm here. Create that story of I helped this person get from here to here. And then you start to dig deep and you start to realize how much you make an impact. That's what inspires me, is the inspiration of others. That's where we get the most fulfilling. There are days I get up, I don't want to shoot a video. I don't feel like it. Maybe my stomach hurts. Maybe I have a headache. Maybe I'm tired. But it's that desire to inspire and impact that says, do it anyway. And so we do.
Ray Higdon, thank you so much for being on the show today. Continued success to you.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of HBTV. Now, for more hot home business interviews, be sure to click the link below and enter your name and email to access previous episodes. We'll see you next time. Take care.